The Trump administration is seeking $1 billion in a settlement with UCLA. Let's see, Brown University and Columbia University, there are so far the only schools that have reached settlements with the Trump administration in order to restore their federal funding. Brown agreed to pay $200 million to end their case. So the Trump administration is reportedly seeking a billion settlement with the University of California, UCLA, in order to conclude its case against the school regarding anti-Semitism and its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. So the potential settlement comes after the administration paused more than $550 million in federal funding to UCLA over its response to anti-Semitic protests and incidents on its campus. The school has promised to engage in new negotiations with the administration to restore the funding. A White House official told The Hill that the administration is seeking the highest payout from UCLA and that the $1 billion would be paid in installments along with a $172 million fund for those impacted by civil rights violations. The school, if it agrees to the settlement, would also install a resolution monitor to ensure the agreement is met, which is a good idea because they'll probably find some sort of a way to weasel out of it. The California University would also be required to hand over data on admissions and stop awarding scholarships based on race. I mean, that should just go without saying. This is insane. Adjust its protest policies, create guidelines excluding transgender women from female sports or campus housing, and halt gender-affirming care at the medical school. The move comes after Brown University and Columbia reached settlements with the Trump administration in order to restore their federal funding, and Brown agreed to pay $200 million to end their case. UCLA has already agreed to settle a separate anti-Semitism lawsuit brought by students and a professor for $6.13 million. I know if they agree to a settlement, it doesn't necessarily admit guilt, but in the court of public opinion, it totally does. Because why else would you be settling? Why not just take it straight to trial if you're not guilty of doing anything? So I'm not going to go through the article because it basically just says everything that I just read. So, but I will leave this article here because I'm going to link it in the description as soon as the video's over, as I link everything that I click on, every article that I pull up and I read, because usually there's just so much to go through. I don't have time to go through and read every word of every article, so I'll link them all below for you. So that is that. So we'll see what happens there, man. $1 billion. That's a lot of money, man. So if each student, let's say that it costs $100,000 in tuition for each student to get a bachelor's degree in UCLA. I'm sure it's more expensive than that, but I'm just giving out a round number. So in that instance, if it costs $100,000 per student to attend UCLA for 4 years and get a bachelor's degree, that $1 billion will be equivalent to 10,000 students going to that university for their bachelor's degree. That's how much money they're going to have to pay out in this settlement if it goes that far. So I hope it does. I mean, they're clearly guilty, just like all these other universities. Brown and Columbia, they're not the only ones either. There was a whole bunch of other ones that were doing these ridiculous protests in the universities. Not only did they do nothing to stop it, I would say a lot of those university professors were the ones that were inciting all of these protests in the first place. Because at the end of the day, these students, when they graduate high school, they don't graduate high school politically charged and completely politicizing everything that they see around them. No, they learn all this shit when they go to college, which is really ironic because they're supposed to go there to get their learn on so they can develop some skills and hopefully realize their talents so that when they get out into the workforce, they can find a way to make a lot of money. But instead, they're just getting indoctrinated and brainwashed.